It's the 6 of the query folding challenge, and if you've been following along, congrats to you. You made it to day 6. So day 6, I'm just going to show you a few things I learned today. I actually learned something new. So the instruction says we should select the stock item key, stock item, and color, where the stock item key is an even number and the color is not NA. So if the stock item key is an even number, that means when divided by 2, there should be no remainder, right? The remainder should be equal to 0. I think this is nice because we did something in the previous days. I can't remember which of the days we did that, and we use modulo, right? We can use that here to get the remainder for dividing the value by 2. So if the remainder is 0, it means that that's an even number. So let's head over to Power BI and see how this works out. So we're here in Power BI. As usual, the first step is to connect to the data source and get the data. Dimensions. Oh, this is a dimension stock item. Click on OK. Import. So normally what I recommend is to always choose the columns that are of interest to you. But today I learned something new, and I think I may have to start reconsidering that decision. So let me just walk through everything. I'll show you why I think I may have to start reconsidering the option of choosing the column first. So let's try this and see how it works out. So the columns of interest are stock item key, stock item, and color. What we do here is to remove other columns, right? We don't need the other columns. The first condition says that the color is not NA, so that's super easy to implement. So come to color and I uncheck this, and you notice a filter has been applied. And oh, just to confirm that everything is working fine, I just check this, and you notice that this is using a subquery. So don't forget that, keep this in mind, that because of the way we've applied the steps, we now have a subquery. So I'll show you something else later on. So what we want to do next is to select the columns for where we just have where the stock item key, not select columns. We want to select the rows where the stock item key is an even number. And that's super easy to do since we've done something like this before. Go to add column and go to modulo, and we divide this by 2. So if you divide this number by 2 and the remainder is 0, it means that that number is an even number, right? So click on OK. So what we can do here is to select this where the remainder is equal to 0. And now we have even numbers here. So all the stock item key here are even numbers. So we can take out this column and we're done with today's challenge. So let me confirm that query folding is happening. Yes, query folding is still happening. So look at this query. This query is long, right? How many subqueries do we have here? We have 1, 2, inner queries here like 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we have 3 inner queries here. So we will need to optimize this to make this easy so that the query will not have too many inner queries. So one thing we can do is to go back to this step. This is a step where we applied filters, and this is the step we applied another filter. So we can apply all these filters together in one step. We can take this up, insert modulo, we take it up, and after applying the first filters, which is to take out N8, we can now filter out for this. And so we want the result where this is equal to 0, which is great. And you also notice that this is still the same, right? So we have 1, 2, 3. We still have 3 inner queries. Great. Let's keep this going. So something else we can also do is to come to this step, and instead of applying a step, we can just copy this step where we are trying to find the, what's the word for it? We're trying to find the modulo, right? To find the remainder. After we divide the values, we're trying to find the remainder here. We can just copy this function and come to this step. So we are referencing this here. So we can use that simple function in place of this. So if we use this in place of this, it means that we no longer need that column. So let's try it out and see if it works. Great. It is working fine. It means that we no longer need this step, so we can take out this step. So if we take out this step and we are sure that everything is working fine, we can just view the native query that has been generated. So now from 3 inner queries, we have just 1 inner query. Now we can still improve this. So this is what I noticed today. I noticed the order in which you apply the steps, especially filters, they can affect the query that is generated. Take a look at this, for example. If I should move this upward, I've moved this upward. So I applied the filters first. So with all the columns that are there, apply the filters first. Then I now removed the columns that are not relevant to this question. When you view a native query, you realize that you have a single select statement. You're selecting these and the filters are applied automatically. So it seems like I'll have to reconsider my advice on always selecting the columns you need first, except if the case is peculiar. So I'm still going to be testing out this idea towards for the remaining days of the challenge to see how true this is, right? Is it true that I don't need to apply remove the columns first, or I need to apply my features first? So I'll keep this in mind when I'm trying out tomorrow's challenge and see how it works out. As much as I'm learning this, I also understand that I want to simplify this so that the query that is sent to the database is a very simple query that is not complex like many inner queries like that. So that's it for today. Today's challenge was pretty straightforward. So thank you. Take care. See you tomorrow. Don't forget to give the channel a subscribe. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up.